Well, here we are again. Welcome, Bitcoin Generations. Take a couple of quick check technicals. Oh, it's not. Stand by. Stand by. Are we test? Test. Are we okay? No echo? I love it. Okay, wonderful. Here we are again. Just checking the logistics of all these good and fine things that we have here. Welcome to Sweating and Smiling Together. Adam and Lori, good to see you. Um, I want to kind of like jump into some stuff here today. This is going to be a great show. Got some exciting things to share. Got possibly some new people that may choose to join in. Share this pod in a couple of different places that I don't normally do that. I guess I've been sort of like practicing, making sure that I've got everything down, which of course you never have everything down. It's never going to be perfect, and you just have to kind of just do it and get going. Um, but having said that, I've got a couple things that I think are going to be exciting for just anybody who's interested in. But it's kind of a call to action for you baby boomers. For us, that's me. Um, Anyone that was born like I pre 1964. And if you're not in that group and you're maybe a little younger than that, that's okay too. It's we're all kind of in this window of like we got to do something, right? Because there's some things that are broke, and we kind of need to make sure that things go well for our kids, our grandkids, and so that's the gist of the show. If you're a new listener, is that we teach baby boomers and new Bitcoiners about Bitcoin and kind of like what some of the issues are with the existing system that we have, the financial system, the political system, the medical system. A lot of this stuff is kind of intertwined when you look at the problem with the underlying problem with money that can just be printed at the whim of the Federal Reserve or at the government level. They've done this for decades. They've got a whole bunch of things that they've done uh, that are messed up. But basically, we know that there is a problem. And so that's pretty obvious. A lot of people have identified that, and you can see it sort of even in the recent election results and some of that stuff with whatever side you sit on. But the point I'm trying to make is that there is something you can do, and that it's not just going to land in your lap. You have to go out and you know watch some podcasts like Bitcoin Generations or stay engaged. Try to continue to level up your skills, understand more things. I mean, like, my question would be, how many books have you read recently? What kind of books are you reading? How are you leveling up your skills? What are you doing? Are you just sitting back and you're like, yeah, it looks all good from here. I mean, like I get to go do this, I get to go do that. And like, great. But what are you building? What are you learning? How are you engaged? Is your family like in it with you? Or do you have close friends in your network that are like totally on board with what you're doing? And is what you're doing like productive? And is that something that's adding value to others? That's the juicy part that I love. And that's why I do this podcast, because I'm networked with some folks who are doing some really cool stuff. And I'm going to unpack that for you here in just a minute. And no, I'm not going to segue to an advertisement or a sponsor, because I don't have sponsors. Okay, I'll just say it. I don't believe in sponsors. I'm just like totally like, no, I just don't do that. Um, and so if you never saw me before, you don't know who I am. I'm a retired first responder. I've done a lot of different things. I've been a contractor. I've built businesses, and just kind of lived a lot of life. I've got kids, family. Yeah, everybody's got a story. I got all this stuff. But that's a little bit about me. Let's dive into what we're going to talk about today. I just want to quickly just shout out one real quick thing. We do go live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So if in the future you want to share this video with somebody or you want to watch again, Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern is your time. The second thing I want to do is I want to just quickly shout out about a class that I'm going to be teaching. I'm just going to briefly mention it right now. It's called the Bitcoin Diploma Program, or the Bitcoin Diploma curriculum. It's a 10-week class, but obviously we talk about Bitcoin, but we talk about like money, and we talk about fiat money and the banking system and all that stuff for like 5 weeks prior, so that you can really understand what is going on, what the problem is, and why your dollars don't go nearly as far as they used to. So I'm going to be teaching that. And then in week 6, we start into Bitcoin, and we start like step by step, so you can understand what this thing is, why it's so important, and why baby boomers need to know about this. You guys are sitting in absolute, like, the time of the century to actually learn and make a difference for your family, for future generations. And I'm not just blowing smoke either. I'm going to unpack that for you if you'll be patient enough and not ADD, too like scrolling too fast to actually pick it up. Okay. And so baby boomers, you should be able to do that. Okay. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit later. A lot of people are talking about, like, Bitcoin, I don't know, crypto, it's, and the noise is immense. It's like, it's almost like Bitcoin is like in this crowded room with all these other coins, and it's like it just can't break out. It just can't. People just like shove it in there together with all this other stuff, and it's perceived to be just like everything else. Here's the thing, is that the noise level is so high with all these other coins, you can't tell the difference between, like, what's the truth about this? What's the truth about that? Why is Bitcoin any different? And you do about 12 minutes a week of YouTube content, and that's where you're at. And if you're there, I get it. I know what that's like, but that's not enough to understand if you really deeply care about money and about, like, what's going on and why things are the way they are, and why, even more importantly, why Bitcoin is not crypto. Okay. And I say that it is a cryptocurrency. It is it is the first cryptocurrency. Yes. Okay. So it is that in that definition, but it's not crypto like everything else is. And, you name anything that's not Bitcoin, any cryptocurrency that is not Bitcoin, and it's a scam coin. It is not there for the long haul. It simply isn't. And I understand full well that the political establishment has named that we will have a strategic Bitcoin stockpile, a strategic, no, it's, yeah, a strategic Bitcoin reserve, a crypto stockpile, and they muddied the waters with all of that. Okay. And that is no accident. They know exactly what they're doing. So this is the crypto administration. Yeah. Okay. Well, so here's my take on that. Right. I don't trust the government. I don't trust the medical establishment. I don't trust Wall Street. I'll tell you who I do trust. I trust the guy down the road who runs the farm stand. I trust the doctor that I know, who I have a personal relationship with, and he knows that I worked in EMS. I trust that guy because I know that guy. He knows me. I trust people who I'm close with. And I don't let people close to me unless I know who you are. Uh, just like I kind of watch who my kids play with. I don't want my kids playing with just anybody. You know, you know, and it's not because I'm just sort of like going off something I read. No, this is real experience. And if you're a baby boomer, just like I posted on X today, if you're a baby boomer, you've got experience. You've had some time in the saddle. You know where, some of the speed bumps are in life for your kids, yourself, your spouse. You see things that other people don't see sometimes. And, you know, even like this, I expect baby boomers to have enough attention span to sit with me and kind of like help me let me explain some of this stuff for you. But your Gen Zs, your millennials, man, if, in the first 10 seconds, if they aren't like like stimulated, man, they're gone. Okay, I know they're not watching this. That's okay. I didn't make this for them. I made this for baby boomers, and that's why my commitment is to you to help you understand that you can preserve your wealth, preserve all the stuff that you think is worthwhile, all your assets, all your stuff. That stuff is could easily go away if you have a problem. Let's just say it like this: if you have a problem where you don't have control of the outcome, okay, and you can read into that what you will. There's all different kinds of scenarios that can play out for that, and I don't care if you live in Florida, California, East Coast, Midwest. Uh, you see you see what some of the problems are with some of the people, some of the zombies, some of the different kinds of state regulatory situations. uh, you see what's going on with money, or if you're not, you got to lift up your head because it's going on. It's money printing is happening. And what does that do to the value of the rest of the US dollars that you have? If you have, yeah, I've covered that on other shows, but when they print money, the money you have is worth less. And what you see at the gas pump and what you see at the grocery store and when you go to buy a car or anything is you're seeing higher prices. Okay, it's really actually not that hard to get down to the bottom of. I want to acknowledge some of the people in the chat over here. It's Pipeline. Here we are. Yes, sir. Yeah, we're here doing it once again. And he says, Pipeline, I'm just going to segue here for a couple seconds, a few comments. He says, I'm saving in Bitcoin and I'll never sell a portion of his stack. Okay. Yeah. So I think that he's saying that he will actually, part of his stack, you'll probably sell some. And it's, if you use it as money, then yeah, for sure. That makes sense. If you're in California, man, I feel sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. But yeah, if you can stack in Bitcoin, then great. And so what a lot of people are doing is they're earning fiat dollars. They're earning US dollars, okay? They're fiat because they're not backed by anything. They're not backed by the gold that they used to be backed by until 1971, when President Nixon took us off the gold standard. If you didn't know that, that's a thing, and it's a fact. You can check me on that. So what I would say is since 1971, we've been living on fiat dollars because that's what the definition of fiat money is. And it's happened before in history, and it's happening to us right now. And so every time they print and they're printing a ton right now, because every time they lend money from a bank, it's not coming from somebody's pocket, it's coming from the printer. So I would say that if you understand that, then if you bring in US dollars, and you earn those, and then you take care of your expenses, excuse me, when it comes to saving, you can save in Bitcoin. And that's not financial advice, but it's definitely something that you should consider. So here here's kind of like where I want to go with this. So if you can figure that out, if you can figure out save in Bitcoin, uh, it's really not difficult. It's simple, I should say. It's simple, not necessarily difficult, but you can make it difficult if you want because you're human, right? And if you're human and you make mistakes, you're not completely convicted. If somebody gave you $1,000 in Bitcoin right now, what would you do with it? You'd be looking at the price, first thing, guaranteed, and then you'd be like, the automatically the first thing that's going to go through your head is, wow, how much is this worth? And you go and look at the price, and you would consider, man, if I could sell this right now, I could go and get such and such. I'm telling you right now, if you have that view, if you have that perception or that level of or lack of conviction about Bitcoin, I'm telling you, do your homework, do some more research, find out why volatility is built into this thing. It is part of it. Find out why Bitcoin is the soundest money that has ever been invented. Find out why you want to hold Bitcoin because they can't make any more of it. There's only 21 million that will ever be mined. And most of it is in circulation right now, or in cold storage, or lost, or you name it. About, give or take a few points of a percentage, about 95% of it has been mined already. Yeah. Oh, so, here comes the questions, like the negativity, right? The this and that. Okay, I can answer all those questions for you. But if you understand that every other money that we have had in the history of the world has been able to be printed. You want to buy more houses? We can build more houses. We can turn the switch. We can dial that up or down however much we like based on demand. You want to like buy a car, you want to buy land, depends on how much money you have. And yeah, they're not making any more land, but there's enough land to have people living on their land. Real estate, land, gold. Can you buy more gold? Yeah, you can buy more gold. Gold is high too. Gold has gone way up, and there's a good reason for that. People are nervous, and rightly they should be. What can you do with gold? What happens to gold when the price goes up? Do they start mining more gold because it's worth more? Do they have better technology now to find more gold in the ground than they used to have? 100%. Do they have the ability to go outside of our outside of Earth and find gold? I'm hearing that they can. I'm hearing that gold is found on other planets. Okay. Yeah, it's out there. But the concept is that gold is not finite, and it can be more produced more. I'm not here to talk about gold, but I am here to talk about crypto and the difference between Bitcoin and crypto. Okay, so the crypto guys. Here's where we are with baby boomers. Okay, over here you have the crypto bros, and these guys are the traders. And I don't care what age you are. This definitely applies to baby boomers, but it definitely applies to anybody who with the mindset of I want to trade crypto. Over here, you've got the traders, you've got the crypto bros, you've got the influencers, and they're telling you all that. Okay. Then on the other side, you have like baby boomers who are like not even close to crypto. I mean, they're like, I mean, they might have some exposure in their IRA or in a some sort of ETF, exchange traded fund, to some sort of Bitcoin. Maybe they have that. But if you're 70 years old, 80 years old, you've done your thing. You may not even see the value in anything else. You just kind of stick to what you know. Okay. Let me pause for a second. I'm going to come back to this in a second, but remember, we've seen new technology come on the scene before. If we're baby boomers, we've seen the emergence of the internet. Okay. Where were you when the internet was happening? Do you remember the adoption rate and how it kind of went like this? And like later, everybody's like, right now everybody uses the internet pretty much on a daily basis, regular basis. Okay, so that we saw the internet, the birth of the internet. Okay, Bitcoin is not going away, my friends. Bitcoin is not going away, and it's actually going to be uh, it's going to be increasing in adoption, and that's what we're seeing. The numbers all show that. I'm not going to bring up a bunch of charts and just kind of get fancy and do this and do that. That's not my strength right here. My strength is to, like, I've seen that. And if you've done your homework, maybe you've seen that too. But I'm just trying to tell you that Bitcoin is the only one you want to invest in. If you're going to invest in anything, you're going to save your money. And I encourage saving. If you're going to save your money, save it in Bitcoin. That's it. Okay. So I'd love to have some questions. If you guys want to bring any questions, feel free to hit the chat with your question. That's fine. We're going to focus on Bitcoin and its difference between Bitcoin and crypto. Okay, I'm going to talk about some other things, and I'm going to circle back to that. But let me get back to the point that I made here. You got your crypto traders and you got your baby boomers, okay, that have maybe some sort of exposure. Then in the center, you have this huge group of people that are like going like crypto traders, like, whoa. It's like what you see on those all those YouTube ads and all the different kinds of guys that are coming on there. You see, or you go to Coin Market Cap, you see you got tickers, and you've got symbols, and you've got crypto news. And if you go on Coin Market Cap, you see what, 18,000 cryptocurrencies. 18,000 cryptocurrencies. Okay, so you've got fancy marketing, fancy marketing with this coin, same thing with that coin. All the coins are trying to push their signal. Do you know how hard it is to pick stocks? I mean, like, I thought I might be able to do it at one time. No, that's not me. That's not me. I learned early that's not something I'm gifted at. Picking stocks is easier than picking cryptocurrencies to trade. This is not a game you want to play if you want to end up like just keeping it simple. Okay. And for my audience, I recommend you keep it simple. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong long term hodling Bitcoin, getting it, keeping it in self custody, moving it to cold storage. You just can't go wrong. Now, yes, there is volatility. And does the price go up and down? Oh, you bet it does. If I told you a price right now, in 5 minutes, it would be a different price. But where's the opportunity? The opportunity lies in the adoption. It's better to like establish a position and be on the train in whatever tiny bit you can. Get on the train. Get on that thing. Work towards self-custody in cold storage rather than just being like, I don't want any part of this. I can't understand this. I don't know what you're talking about. That's why I don't know what you're talking about for baby boomers and stuff like that. That's why I'm going to be teaching this class. Okay. You don't understand Bitcoin? It's a great time to learn. Okay. There's 10 chapters in here. They don't start talking about Bitcoin until the 6th chapter. You do a great job of explaining what money is, how money's used, the history of money, all this stuff. It's all in this class that I'm going to teach. And so I know I'm trying to build some anticipation, trying to like show people that, hey, this is the way to go to learn the basics before you know, no, I'm not saying, drop, $2 million in this thing and you don't know anything about. No, I would never do that. But I am saying baby steps. Learn your Bitcoin in baby steps, and you can't go wrong. All right. You just got to keep learning. You got to keep after it. It's like raising kids, really. I mean, it's like you think you know, you don't know. You do some more work, and then you're like, oh, I got this new idea, this new I understand some new things about this now. And then you're like, oh, I'm humbled again. Oh, okay. Great. So the opportunity is in the adoption because there are a massive number of people that are going to be coming to Bitcoin. That's going to be helpful. But under the hood, the thing is a the protocol is such that it has the halving every 4 years approximately, and they reduce the block reward by half. There's always in the backdrop, there's always just the 21 million. And then there's the miners mine a block every 10 minutes on average. And so they do that. And the nodes, the network of relay the global ledger all around the world. And that's what keeps the miners and everybody else accountable. Okay. That's kind of like the spreadsheet for Bitcoin. And I know I'm making this very, very simple, but that's what I'm trying to do that. So let's kind of understand, let's get back to the opportunity, the questions or concerns about volatility. Yeah, I know Bitcoin, but the price goes up and down, and it could be like 10,000, or it could be $1 tomorrow. Well, no, it's not going to $1. The adoption is pretty high. We have a lot of adoption in terms of the people who are committed to and holding on to Bitcoin. There are some people that are selling, but there are more people that are buying. And we need to understand where the volatility comes from. So the volatility, let me pause for a moment for that. Our existing system that we have relies on US dollars. Okay, that's what we're used to. That's what we know. And if we're able to, we see what the problem is. I've described this already: the inflation and the prices changing and everything. But if we can step outside of that for a minute, it's very difficult. But if you could, in a way, step outside that system and see what is going on with the system that we have right now from a different perspective, from a different lens, and I know you probably think I'm like conspiracy theorist or something like right now, like yeah, I really don't care, but I'm just trying to help you understand. If you can see the system that we live in is flawed and how it might be able to be changed, how it's going to be changed, whether or not we are on board or not. That is what Bitcoin is doing. Okay. And if you're into stocks and you're into learning about all that, you can understand more of this by learning what the strategy company is doing, and their if that's your jam. I would say that what you really can do is you can see from outside the system that there is really no other options long term. And that's a pretty bold thing to say. And I realize that. But if you understand where uh, the people, the power brokers and the elite who want to keep the old system relevant, it's yeah, I mean, it's coming to a fever pitch. I mean, do you see all the unrest? Do you see all the civil unrest? Do you see the financial issues that we have, the political issues? How are they all tied together? Well, they're tied together by this thing called money. In the United States, one we have one we have one money. In fact, it's used around the world. It's very popular around the world. Everybody wants the US dollar, or that's what we're hoping still going forward. We have it's pretty dynamic though, because we have a lot of US debt as well. And so a lot of that debt has to be refinanced. It has to be uh, and that's why Trump is trying to get Powell to lower the interest rates. Will that happen? I don't know. We'll see. But you know, there is no doubt that there's a bit of a problem. And baby boomers, you probably have noticed that, and you probably are a little uncomfortable about it. You probably need to get yourself some Bitcoin. And when you get some, you're going to want to know how to take care of it. And I'm going to put in the show notes a link to a company called Bitcoin Citadel that I'm an investor in. Uh, I have a small stake in that company. I do that because I know it's run by people who are like me, uh, like straight ahead. We like to do business with other Bitcoiners. We like to do business with people who need some help and don't understand things, um, and who are solid people. And when I run my previous businesses, I always tried to make sure that I bring the value. I bring the value up front, and I share exactly what I can do, what I can't do, and this is how we're gonna do business. Does that work for you? Because if it does, that's great. We're gonna have a great relationship. If it doesn't work for you, I'm not your guy. Please have a nice day. But the BitcoinCitadel.net is who I go to and who I use. And there's a lot of reasons, and I'm not going to talk too much about that. Uh, but maybe someday I will allow them to sponsor my show. We'll see. But yeah, so kind of rewinding here a bit. I'm going to wrap this up and put a bow on it in a second. Uh, it, you know, we talked about Bitcoin is outside the system, and why is that? It's outside the system because it's the only thing that has its own rules, and it just sits there and works. It just does its own thing. And you'll be like, well, how is that different from crypto? Well, here's the thing. Bitcoin is not crypto because Bitcoin is based on is different in a lot of different ways. Okay, there was no pre-mine with Bitcoin like there was like the XRP, for example. Okay, what's a pre-mine? A pre-mine is when I get to make the rules and I print all the XRP that there's going to be. And then I go, hey, there's this other crypto called XRP. And look, here's, and I put, 100,000 tokens out there, 100,000 shares, or however they denominate that thing. And they go, yeah, here's 100,000. Man, look at what it's doing, and then I'm kind of like, okay, here's another 100,000, So who's in control there? The guy who's printed all the XRP in the very beginning. The guy who put all that together, right? Who was that? There was a guy. He's a CEO. Okay. That's the first thing. They're based on proof of stake, like how much you have. How much of it you have is how much you get to kind of make the rules. Okay. And Bitcoin's not like that. Bitcoin doesn't have a CEO. Bitcoin doesn't have a board of directors. It doesn't have anything that can make it stop. Think about that. Bitcoin goes every day, every 10 minutes, there's a new block. On average, there's a new block that gets and I've shared the time chain calendar on here before. And I will do it again just because I think it's worthwhile. I think you should see it for the new people. Like let's go look at this real quick. Yeah, so we're going to just jump over here and I'm going to share the screen so you can see the time chain calendar. Okay. And there we go. We're at block height 916358. Okay. What are we looking at here? We're looking at, this is the 916358. That's the block height. That's how many blocks have been mined since the very genesis block of Bitcoin. Back in 2009, January 2009 was the first block. Okay, and we can actually, let's go back and take a look at the first block. We can see everything on this. Okay, we're going to go all the way back to the Genesis block. Past block was 0. The first block was mined. Yeah, let's see. Let me see if we can see that. I don't know if we can get to it, but there it is. There it is, 16 years ago. Okay, it was an empty block. Let's see the second one. It was an empty block. Let's keep going. Well, okay. So the price of Bitcoin was very, very cheap back then. And the 30,649th block, it was 50 Bitcoin. That's what the block subsidy was, 50 Bitcoin. Okay. They were in epoch number 1, meaning they hadn't gone through the first halving yet. And the cost of Bitcoin back then in December 20th, 2009 was that? Oh, it didn't even register. It was, yeah. But you could get 159 Bitcoin for a US dollar. Okay. They didn't have exchanges back then, apparently. All right. So now we're going to move on to April 16th, 2010. Bitcoin was 1 cent for 1 US Bitcoin. One US cent for a Bitcoin. We're still in the first epoch. Okay. So I don't want to get too far down the road on the time chain calendar. You can learn, you can go to that a lot more. We can check that out. But okay, this is the part that I really want boomers to hear. Okay. This is going to be regarding real estate, regarding your assets that you have. You remember how I was talking about, you've got your crypto traders over here and you've got your people who are the boomers over here who are completely like maybe clueless, or they might have some exposure inside of a fund or inside of an ETF. Okay. In the center, you have right now, You have all these people that are baby boomers that have assets. They have money. They have money. They have real estate. You might have a house. You might have two houses. What do you have that you can live without? If you knew today that you could save your money in Bitcoin, you could save your money in something that they can't print any more of. They can't screw with you if you do it right. What would you say to that thing that you own if it's not doing you any good? You're not living in it. You may be getting rent, US dollars, US fiat dollars. It's a pain in your rear because you have to go and fix it. Yeah, you got a second house, you got a second income, you got all this stuff. Well, but you don't have Bitcoin. You got all kinds of things and you don't have any Bitcoin? Dude, like, what are you doing? Just saying. And, I'm just saying, you need to get some exposure to it. And I don't care if you have 10 sats, 100 sats, 100,000 sats, a million sats. Satoshis. Those are the little tiny parts of Bitcoin because there's a lot of smaller parts of Bitcoin inside of one Bitcoin. Okay. 100 million Satoshis inside of one Bitcoin. Okay. So it's very, 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 it can be divisible into very smaller, much smaller parts. But my point is that if you have assets and you don't have any exposure to Bitcoin, like, what are you doing? Maybe you have a second home. Maybe you have a first home. Maybe your kids have moved out. Maybe you don't need to have all that stuff. Maybe you need to downsize in a big way. Maybe you need to really kind of look at some things. Yeah. I mean, it's very humbling. Like, what do we really need? So should you refi and get a lower interest rate? Maybe put some money into Bitcoin? Should you sell your house? You live in a big house. You want to live in a smaller house? You want to live in a condo? It's your choice. Maybe you don't even want to live in the United States. Maybe you want to live in Arizona where it's warm. Maybe you want to rent. Maybe you can put the difference in Bitcoin. Some food for thought. If you're a boomer, you should be thinking about that. Okay, we've got some chats over here. Let's see, where are my chatters? Clean your machine. How are you doing, sir? Learning and understanding everything about Bitcoin is enough of a task without adding in all those shitcoin options. 100%, sir. You've been doing your homework. I'm really proud of you. And how's your grandson too? I want to know how he is. That's good. Good. He says also, those coins are for gamblers, and if that's what they want to do, go have fun. Yeah. Oh yeah. So we looked at the time chain calendar, and 159 Bitcoin for $1. That was back in the day. All right. Yeah. So, I've covered a few things here that I think are important. I just really think that, you need to differentiate. You need to make the distinction between cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. There really is nothing else like Bitcoin. And the more research you do, or you do any research, you start with the basics. You want to know the basics. I've been sharing them with you. It's only 21 million. And there are, I haven't talked about mining at all. Mining is something that's very interesting. I'm not an expert. I don't have an industrial mining complex here behind me or anything, but I've talked to some guys that do, I've met some guys that do have them, and I've spent some time at conferences talking about mining and learning about mining. And I think it's important for baby boomers to learn about this stuff. You know, it's going to be part of the overall infrastructure in going forward. And if it doesn't interest you, that's okay. But uh, it's going to be closely tied with AI, I believe. And I don't think we're going to be getting away from AI anytime soon either. And another thing I will tell the baby boomers out there is that you understand AI maybe, and you may understand robotics, and you may understand like self-driving cars and things like that. How do you think those things are going to be paid for? How do you think that money is going to be exchanged? You think they're going to be using gold? Do you think they're going to be using fiat paper dollars? Or is it going to be US dollars over an electronic network that'll be exchanged? Or is the US dollar kind of like going downhill, maybe gonna crash and burn? And what are they going to use? They're going to use the soundest money that's ever been. They're going to use something that you can make more transactions quicker than anything else that they know of. On the Lightning Network, you can make I don't have the number of thousands of transactions or the millions of transactions per second that can happen on the Lightning Network with Bitcoin. Don't have that on my fingertips right here. But I will say that it can happen very quickly with Bitcoin. Okay. So, you know, uh, there, just make sure I'm not missing anything that I had on my notes here. Uh, yeah, 12 minutes a week is not going to get it for you on YouTube. You're not going to have the conviction that you have. If I gave you, $100 in Bitcoin today, what would you do with it? I mean, do you have the conviction to hold on to it? Or do you just be like, yeah, yeah, I'm going to turn this into money as fast as I can, turn this into US dollars. Uh, uh, so yeah, I'm kind of round this out and put a bow on this. Um, the world is constantly changing, and there's a couple of things that I found in life that don't change. Okay, uh, I mean, you change, I change. Our genetics, our genetics kind of are what they are, but they can be changed too. Our cellular makeup and everything can change. A lot of things are changing, but Uh, one thing that doesn't change, I found for me, and that is, my faith in Scripture, in the Lord. Uh, it doesn't change. And one thing I love about that is I love it because it doesn't change. It hasn't changed. You can't. They're not supposed to change that. They don't change the Bible. Uh, and if you're not religious, you know, thank you for your grace on that. I just had to bring that up. But Bitcoin doesn't change either. And I say that because it's been the same ever since it was first started in January 2009. I showed you the time chain calendar. The beauty of this too is one of the other things is there's no secrets on Bitcoin. There's no like it's all open source. You can see everything. And that maybe a little bit of downfall because if there was a bad actor that wanted to try to find, several addresses and where is this Bitcoin being, maybe the government can track the flow of Bitcoin through addresses and things. There are some privacy minded kind of like techniques and stuff that you can do, but for the most part, as far as full disclosure and transparency goes, Bitcoin is the premier asset. Okay, uh, it stacks up against everything else really well, in my view. And so, if you like the idea of being a sovereign individual, if you like the idea of having control over your assets, if you like the idea of preserving your wealth, We have a place for you. Welcome. If you like the idea of giving your assets to your children and your grandchildren without government interference, welcome. This is the place for you. This is the way. And I think that more people are going to wake up and see that this is the kind of thing that you want to have, you want to know about, you want to understand. And I'm going to be teaching, like I said, this class here. It's going to be coming up. I believe. Let me look at the calendar real quick, and I will tell you when I'm going to be teaching that. So it's going to be in October, and it's going to be going to start on October 10th, Friday, October 10th. It's going to be a classroom format. It's the reason why I'm going to have a classroom format with kind of an audience or students in online is because when I say classroom format, I don't mean in person. I do mean online. You'll be able to get it from pretty much any place you have internet connection. But the reason I say kind of classroom format is because it'll be sort of like a live stream, but we'll have individual students be able to interact with one another. And so with that, the reason for that is because the curriculum has some activities that the students are supposed to do. They're supposed to, I'm going to be asking a few questions, in which I can give you a couple sample questions that are in chapter 1. And I'll share with you the questions because they require you to think. Remember, we're talking about the first 5 chapters talk about money. We're going to be talking about, the title of the chapter is Why Do We Need Money? And so the activities, the questions are going to be, why do we need money? Yeah. And the group is going to be able to talk with each other about that. What is money? Who controls money? What gives money its value? Right? So these are good questions. What question do you have about money? Write it down, your question, and share it with the class. So there's some important things to discuss there. And if you haven't thought about those things, it's time to learn. It's time to learn. So Bitcoin Diploma coming live on October 10th. And my plan is to it won't be on the YouTube. We have another platform that we're going to use on that, and you may have to. I don't think you're going to have to subscribe. You're going to have to subscribe, but the platform will be free at that point for you if you want to join. It's called School, and we're going to have a lot of other content on that platform. And Bitcoin Citadel is the kind of the owner of the School platform that we're going to be teaching that class in. Okay, so we'll provide links and stuff to that, but that's going to start on Friday, October 10th at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to start teaching that class, and it's a 10-week class. So there's a lot of great topics in there. One final thing on the class that I do want to share is the curriculum right now. So you don't have to go and buy a book. You see me, I've got a book right here, and I paid to print this book because I'm a very visual guy and I need lots of pictures and help me understand like what I'm reading. And so if you're not up for printing the whole thing yourself, you can, or you don't have to, but you can look at it online. So it's completely free. It's open source curriculum. and it's free to download. And so I'm gonna put on here exactly, show you exactly where you're gonna be able to find this stuff. All right. So here we go. You ready? Stand by 1 second. I got you. I got you. All right, here. Here you go. I am so good at this. Look at this. All right. So you just type into Google Bitcoin diploma. Or you use whatever search engine you want. Come down here to My First Bitcoin and Bitcoin diploma. Okay. Bam. There you go. That's the whole curriculum. Okay. You're welcome to download it. Do all that you want. The beauty, the learning is really going to come when you're in with the other students and you guys are you're able to chat back and forth about the answers to these questions that I'm going to pose to you. All right. So now you've got a head start. And now, so the secret is out. All my secrets are fully disclosed now. Okay. So you can see exactly what I'm going to be teaching you. However, I reserve the right to ask maybe some other questions that aren't in the book. So there you go. All right. So here we are. There we go. And let's take a look more. We've got a few more comments here. Yeah, regarding some of the, we'll kind of rewind back to the altcoin conversation. Cleaner Machine says those coins are for gamblers, and if that's what they want to do, go have fun. Yeah, good deal. Good deal. And your grandson, Aiden, he's doing well. Very good. He's back in school. Good to hear. All right. So, any other questions? I would encourage you to ask them now about the Bitcoin diploma class or anything else that we've tried to cover today. The difference between XRP and Bitcoin, the opportunity in Bitcoin. You know, I have mentioned before some of the things. If you're new to this channel, I would just mention a couple of ways to buy Bitcoin that I use. I don't mention anything on here that I don't personally do myself because I think that's that's kind of cheesy. What I do is I go to River and I buy Bitcoin at river.com, and I'll bring them up. Let's see. Yeah. And you can do this too. They've got some great resources on there too. I'm not. I don't get anything for sharing this information with them, but I do use River. I think that's a good place to go, and they have a learn tab here. If you get really kind of froggy, you can go in there and learn some stuff. They've got some interesting and cutting edge kind of like research that they do as well. It's kind of nice. But if that's not your jam, I would go to another one is Bitcoin Well. And Bitcoin Well that's interesting because they don't custody your Bitcoin. And they're based out of Canada, but they serve the United States and Canada. So they're a solid company as well. And you can sign up and do that if you want to. I have some referral links, but you can use those if you want. You don't have to. They're very. I think they're good. They don't custody your Bitcoin at all. You buy it from them. It goes straight to your wallet. And I have some other things that I do use as well. And I, again, don't get paid for any of this, but I do think it's important to. Well, let's see. This is a Fold. Fold is an app for your phone. It's or your like iPad. It's not for like a desktop. but I found that it's very helpful to me. I pay bills with my Fold, and I'm going to share that with you as well, so you can see what that's all about. So we just type that in, and you can go there. Now, if I click on this, it doesn't take me to the app. You can go to the App Store and get the app. See, if I click on this right now, it'll just be kind of like that. But that's because I have I don't want to accept all that. I have this actually thing. They actually have a website. It looks pretty good, but I actually implemented a private VPN or a private DNS over my VPN, and not to get all techie with you, but it allows me to kind of control what my computer on my home network can go and see and all that. So I've got a lot of stuff that's blocked, and it's just not that important for me to put that on there. But I might do that now that I'm showing you guys. So anyway, yeah. So that's it, pretty much. Got some, a lot of good information coming. We're going to just continue to push this out around once a week, Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern time, and going to keep doing that. Got some more guests that are coming. Gonna get exciting. Didn't talk any about Bitcoin mining today. I got a guy up in Idaho that I met when we went to Denver to a heating conference, Bitcoin mining heating conference. It was fabulous. It was really cool. And he's a contractor. He installs only Bitcoin mining heat reuse systems. And what is it? What is that? It's a system that he installs that's a Bitcoin miner, but his specialty is using the heat off of all that whole system and using it to heat your water or heat your house or heat your space, heat your flooring, hydronics. I mean, you name it. This guy does it, and he is badass. Okay. And I use that word sparingly, if those of you know me. But Cade is his name, and he owns a company called Softwarm. And might as well just share this with you. If you're in Idaho and you want to go to his website or something like that and find out what he does. Yeah, I mean, this guy he's good. He's solid. He's a contractor and he knows what he's doing. So I'm just going to share this X link with you just to show you can do some research. You can look at some of his videos and stuff. Where am I? Oh, here I am. There I go. Okay. Now I can share. Here we go. Share screen. Yeah. Okay. Softwarm LLC, heating homes and industry with Bitcoin immersion mining systems and hydroelectric energy in the mountains of central Idaho. Bam. Okay. Do you get cold in Idaho? Do you get cold up north? Yeah. So there you go. So I think Cade's going to come on. We're going to have a good conversation about, how to reuse heat. What kind of stuff is he doing? What kind of stuff is he building? What's the craziest system he's installed? What's the most efficient, best systems and stuff that he's installed? He's going to be on the show. I'm also going to have another guy, but I don't have him set yet, so I won't talk about him. All right, so that's it. I really appreciate you guys. Let's see. Oh yeah. So 100%. I do need to put my referral code for Fold in the show notes. I will do that as well. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate that. If you guys have any other comments, questions, leave them in the chat below. As always, we love it when you like and subscribe. But if you don't, then you can just go along your merry way as well. And anyway, I hope that y'all have a great day, a blessed day, and may you just do something nice for somebody today, and just for no reason. Okay. Have a great day, and I'll see you here next time.